put my email address because it's really, really long. There's no show notes, but he'll just put it in the show link instead of my website. Steve, that's easy. Just Chris at technologyadventures.com. So people can just click on it and email me direct.
Yep. Totally.
Yeah.
Cool.
Chris, do you have time for a couple of emails? We answer a couple of those?
Please.
Okay. Our first one is from Rob, and he's asking how often people try to get free information out of you. What do people say so they don't have to pay a penny for the support you give, the blame game? And what do you say to overcome it? Just some ideas to talk about, and horror stories might be fun. I've got one. I got an answer real quick for this, Chris, if you want to contemplate it a little bit. But I just had this happen yesterday or today, one of the two. Anyway, a ex-brother-in-law calls me up, and he works at a nursing home. He's got a laptop of a friend or a client who lives there, and they can't get any wireless access on this laptop. I guess he said that it just had a new hard drive put in it. The wireless was working one day and it's not. It's the typical white Dell laptop, and then all of a sudden you're getting internet access, or you're getting a wireless network access but no internet. Kind of like a Vista thing. And so I'm like, well, I kind of told him maybe he should reinstall the driver. They had a good laptop there and a thumb drive, so they could pull the driver off of the Dell and website and put it in this and install it. Well, anyway, long story short, they just, it was free advice. That's probably, one of the first things I would have looked at, and along with the settings and things. But it looked like they'd already went through a lot of the settings and they kind of knew what they were doing. But anyway, I gave out that free advice and hung up. And then 2 days later, I get a call. Hey, are you going to be around? I'm going to drop this laptop off. They just they couldn't figure it out. So I guess given my free advice, maybe it wasn't good enough free advice because it didn't fix it, but it turned into a laptop job. So it's here on the bench now. I don't mind giving away advice. And I had another, like I said, another recent one was a guy called wanting to know what my thoughts were on a computer he built. And it was a phone number out of Chicago, which is about 2.5 hours away from me. So I don't know if I would ever get any jobs out of this. But anyway, he home built a computer and it was running fine, but now it wouldn't boot. And he tried reinstalling Windows using 2 different install disks. It would only get so far on each one, and it wouldn't go no farther. And I just kind of said, well, it sounds like maybe you've got a bad hard drive, and he goes, well, it's only 6 months old. I'm like, well, it could be a bad hard drive even if it is 6 months old, But that's a couple, that's fine. I'll give away some free advice. It's fine. What do you think?
Yeah,
about
me too.
Chris?
Yeah, no, I give away free advice for sure. People call me all the time. I talk to them for like 20 minutes. Try this, try that. No, you can't do it. If it's like simple things, if a customer wants a complex answer, I'll give it to them, knowing full well that that's not gonna, it's gonna get me the job. But most of the time, I try. If it's simple stuff, like my computer's not starting. Well, is it plugged in? I don't want to drive all the way out there, plug it in, and push the button, right? So plugged in. Yes, it's plugged in. Okay, fantastic. Did you smell smoke coming out from it? Does your power supply smell burnt? Simple stuff. I will give some free advice, but most of the time, I say, if you've come this far and you're calling me, more likely you need me to come out because you've probably exhausted most of the simple things. And it's time for me. But yeah, if people, especially friends, I mean, I don't charge friends or family a nickel for any repair, so it doesn't matter. Most of the time I just tell them, bring it to me and I fix it. But yeah, free advice is cool.
Yeah, the unplugged computer, that reminds me of another phone call I had a couple weeks back where a guy wasn't getting any internet access. Well, it turned out that his power strip had accidentally been flipped, and neither his wireless router or cable modem were actually powered on. That fixed that. That was, it was kind of memorable.
Awesome. I love those ones.
Yeah. But he was glad he got it going because he really wanted to check his email and he was having a hard time.
I walked into a customer the other day and they had their screen. He looked at it and the window, like the whole screen was sort of off a little bit to the right, so the whole desktop is off to the right. And I just went up and pushed the auto detect button on the front of the monitor, and it went and brought everything back to normal. And I went, that'll be $89, please.
Wow.
Yeah, that one's a stinger. So I was like, I said, I go, there's got to be something else I can do here. Like, is there anything else you need? She's like, I just got an iPad. She's like, and I'm not really sure. It says it has internet. I can't get on it. I'm like, you just push this button called Safari. Oh, wow. And I was like, whoo, next.
Wow.
That'll be $289 by the time I'm done.
That's cool.
Yeah, they're fun.
Our next email is from Bernie B. He's from Lansing, Michigan. And he says, transferring bookmarks and such between Windows and Mac. I just caught your recent podcast, and when you started talking about how to transfer bookmarks and settings, I would recommend using Xmarks instead of installing Chrome, importing, exporting, etc. Xmarks should do all of this without the hassle of installing additional browsers. To directly access the original question of transferring all their data from PC to Mac. If the user has a home network, and they should, just use the Apple migration tool, which you brought up earlier, didn't you, Chris? Have you ever heard of Xmarks?
Yeah, it's owned by LastPass now, which I use LastPass for it's a passwords manager. For Mac bookmarks, I use Migration Assistant, and it brings over all the bookmarks. But if you were just doing bookmarks, the easiest way for me is just go up into a Safari file, export into HTML, or the other way, if you're in Internet Explorer, just export into HTML, pop them onto a USB drive, plug it into the Mac, and then import it into Safari or whatever browser, and boom, all your bookmarks are there. That Xmark, so that's a good idea. You could definitely do that. It just depends if the customer wants to go through the fact of setting up an account with Xmarks.
Okay. That's all the emails I have for tonight. Steve, did you have anything else you wanted to say before we end this off?
No, go for it. Let's wrap it up.
All right. Well, I want to thank everybody tonight for listening to Podnutz Daily. It's been a great show. Thanks a lot, Chris, for coming on. It was really fun. I learned a lot. Again, I always enjoy having Chris on the show, and I enjoy being on other shows with Chris. Chris, you got to have me over on Bootable sometime if you can talk Steve D into letting me in.
Done. We'll just get rid of William. You can just be the fourth.
Oh, the fourth. Yeah. Okay. Cool.
Yeah, we'll just get rid of him. He's not important. Don't worry about him. Anytime you want, you come over.
If you want people to get a hold of you, how do they get a hold of you, Chris?
Follow me on Twitter, Tech Adventures on Twitter. And thanks for hosting, Eric. You did a great job. That was a lot of fun. And if people get rattled, I'm very I have lots of passion for this business and what we do. So I'm just saying all these things because I just want to help, and I love it, and it's fun, and I enjoy talking about it. So yeah, hopefully everyone got something out of it.
I'd like to remind everybody to go over to Podnutz and check out the laptop repair videos, and also the website builder, and check out ACRBO and their new magazine. If you've never really checked out an online magazine, man, if you didn't have a computer screen sitting in front of you, you'd never know it was an online magazine. It's just beautifully done. I want to thank everybody for listening tonight, and we'll catch you next time.